back in the studio, which is not a studio, a co-working space. Fortunately, we're the only ones here so far. In about half an hour, I'll be hopping on a podcast with the boy Jack Moses. He's a cool creator I have just been following on the timeline on Twitter for probably about a year now. And we have a fair amount of mutuals, and his journey's been really interesting. He's traveled the world, he lived in Thailand for a while. So he's done the Southeast Asia thing like I have, and he's big into the spirituality, psychedelic, conscious entrepreneur world. So going to get into an interesting conversation with him. Gonna set up the setup right here. Got the microphone, I gotta run the camera, and yeah, we'll get into it. So gonna drop in with Jack soon. I'll check back with you guys when I wrap. Okay, wrapped up with Jack. Really awesome conversation. It's crazy how cool of a guy he is, the mission he's on. Crazy similarities too. I know I've started shaving my head, but we even like looked similar before. Got kind of like lighter facial hair, blue eyes, blonde hair. Anyway, just nuts how like many crossovers are in our lives, and he will absolutely be somebody that remains in my life moving forward for some exciting projects. So excited to see what that'll turn into, but finished up. Last vlog is already out. That was what I was working on after we finished up the podcast. So by now you've seen that one, and hopefully you enjoyed. I know they're kind of long. I hope people are watching to the end, but I guess it's a documentation thing. It's a body of work. It's there for those who want to, but not for anyone who isn't. Gonna head back now to the place, and we've got a mobility class and sauna on the docket, and then maybe some more afternoon work today. And if it stays uncloudy, then maybe some beach, but we are officially in rainy season, so less sunshine and more clouds, unfortunately, recently. But gonna hop on the trusty turquoise steed over here and head home. I found a field closer to home for some sprints. We opted for some sprints today. But this is the beach right down the road from where I am. And while it's not in the best shape and definitely has a bit of trash, it's tucked behind this little town, village situation over here. Very much Indo spec. But it'll make do for some longer sprints. This field is probably like 100 by 100 yards. So diagonally a little bit longer. And I just got to make sure to avoid rocks and little sharp objects on the ground, but not a bad backdrop to wake up and sprint to. 9 a.m. 9 a.m. in Lombok. Now that we're entering into rainy season, it typically rains a little bit. You can kind of see the darker, ominous clouds that direction. But getting into some sprints this AM, and then we'll see what the rest of the day has in store. Okay, it's been some days since that last clip. The pod with Jack is now out and has been out for a little bit of time, so go check it out. I really enjoyed it. Jack is a super cool kid working on cool projects, and like I said before, we have a lot in common, and it'll be awesome to remain connected and hopefully work on some projects in the future. But the reason it's been a little bit of time is because I've been procrastinating making this clip for a number of reasons. But I know, especially in lieu of the end of last vlog and being a man of my word and actually documenting the process, I feel like this needs to be made. I don't know if this will make it in this vlog or which vlog it'll make it in, or if it'll only be in the grand documentary, but actually having the receipts and filming things while they happen so you can look back on them and smile is part of the process, even if it's not a moment to be particularly proud of or announce. I don't mean to share any of this stuff as far as the financials coming down to true zero, which I'll kind of share a story that happened this week, in any way to like fetishize what's going on. I just want to actually document my story, like I said at the end of last vlog and when I put out that newsletter. And sorry for the construction noise outside my bungalow here. Hopefully it's not too bad for the clip. But as I said in the end of last vlog, with that newsletter, I will be just telling the truth. My life has only gotten better by telling more of the truth, and I have nothing to hide from. And again, I think it's predominantly for my internal world, but also for anyone that's like following along this journey, wants to catapult themselves into the heroic mission of their own. It's just interesting at bare minimum, but I think it's awesome to watch people have their zero to hero moment. And I think a lot of the confidence for me sharing coming down to true zero is that I know that the victory's already won because I've seen it in my mind's eye. Like, I just know it's going to work out, and I can't impart that knowingness out to other people. I'm just gonna have to show them the result. And so I don't love the whole like talking before things happen thing. I think a lot of that's masturbation for most people, but I'm very much a big believer in being a man of my word, proclaiming the future vision I see for myself, and like speaking it into existence. And I've done it thus far in my life, and I see no reason why this can't be the same. Yeah, a lot of entrepreneurs in their journey talk about, you know, getting tight on cash or like really having to go all in on their businesses, but I don't think a lot of people actually do. And it's not right or wrong. Like, if you have longer runway or plenty of money, or it takes off before you really get down to zero, like, that's your journey. But for me, I've actually experienced what it means to be at like dead zero. This week it got to the point where I had legitimately no more Indonesian rupiah cash on hand, which is what I was mostly using for like buying food and local street food and stuff. So I was out of cash, and the only money I had in any account to withdraw, because there's only one card that like works in Southeast Asia, I had to transfer from the account, my business account that's connected to the subscriptions on Substack for the people that are supporting my work. Top link in the description to join that. And so that the recurring revenue from that is currently pretty low, but it's just barely keeping me kind of alive and feeding me at this moment. So anyway, that account was empty, and I was waiting. It was like a 2 or 3 business day transfer thing. So I had no cash and no way to withdraw cash, and my credit cards are all at limit, but there was like one card that was like $20 left or something like that. So I went out to get food, sit down, eat my meal, and I miscalculated the meal cost by like a few rupiah, so it was just over my credit limit. So the card gets denied. Try my other cards, obviously they get denied as well, partially because they don't take Amex here in Southeast Asia, but also because it's at its limit. And so the restaurant person's like, oh, you know, just come with us to the ATM, you can withdraw cash and then pay. And I'm like, I literally can't withdraw cash. So I'm sitting there actually fucked because I've already eaten this meal, and I'm not gonna just like steal it. By the grace of God, there was a guy who had come in like halfway through my meal that I had met at the gym, eating his meal at a different place in the restaurant. So I was like, just humbly had to be like, hey bro, I literally can't pay for this right now, but I'll get you back in a few days when the money transfers over. So he was kind enough to kind of spot me the meal. But the point is, I now have experienced and know what it feels like to be like walking the razor's edge of completely dead broke. Now, fortunately, my housing is already paid for, my flight home's already paid for, and by paid for, I mean I paid for it, and the payments are done. But again, I'm not sharing this to fetishize the moment at all, but it's been a very interesting experience experientially to like go through this and see what sort of things come up, like the moments of anxiety, and then having to train myself or navigate that emotion in a way that's most productive. Because I think, like I said in that newsletter, like a lot of people would panic, most maybe, but I'm just not. And I don't know exactly what that is, but I think it's probably a testament to the years of like internal work, this like deep sense of faith and knowing and trust in God. But also, even just on a practical sense, like there's nothing for me to panic and place that energy into. You know, if there was something that I could just spend all day, every day, chipping away at to like make a little bit more money, then I would be doing it already. And so the point is to just, as a creative, especially as an entrepreneur, like look for these non-linear returns. I wrote a different article, the thread that went viral on Twitter, like hard work is a scam. And I fundamentally believe that. It's why I'm seeking investment for Virtus Athletica, because I think the world tries to tempt you into these linear things, like get a job that pays you X amount for your time. And it's just this linear return, like save up, pay the bill, save up, pay the bill, save up, pay the bill. and you increase your skill or get a couple promotions and you get a little bit more, but looking for opportunities in your life to 10x. How could I 100x? How could I make more money this month than I made this entire year? That's where the riches really are. And this is kind of how I view money in general. Like, I almost feel like once you understand the way that the Federal Reserve and money is printed and how fiat is just completely fictional and unbased entirely, it makes it very hard for me to like really want to dedicate my life force energy to wage slavery or whatever you want to call it. And it's not condemning anyone in any sort of financial position or different kind of job. Like, you're walking your path is yours alone. I'm just sharing kind of my perspective. And this also isn't to demonize money. Like, I'll clip in my mindset with like why I feel pretty strong about why I'm going to be given a lot of money to support my dream and support the mission that I have, is because I want to do good with it. And it's not just a want, like it's actually what I'm going to do. And it's the same reason I eventually felt comfortable and to be vulnerable and to ask for help. And for those that did send Venmos or decide to subscribe on the newsletter, and have reached out and extended an actual act of faith by sending energy in the form of money to me, it means the world. Like it those little things for right now matter so much. And I am smiling and kind of like laughing about it because I can't wait for the day where like the roles are reversed. I have so much more in my cup. I can't wait to just dump it on everyone in my circle. Not only obviously will I circle back around because I'm keeping the receipts to like everyone who lent me a hand when I was at the bottom, but abundantly more than that, like hiring and retiring my parents, hiring and retiring my siblings if they want to come work with me in my company, putting my friends on, paying for the rent of an entire house so other creators can live in it. Like, I have all these dreams and aspirations. Me and Jack actually went really into this both on the podcast and after, and I just know that I'm not seeking tremendous amounts of wealth for personal gain or to have manipulative power over other people. And I believe that good triumphs over evil in the end. So maybe this is the naivete of a 25-year-old, but this is the fucking receipt. Like, put the date. I'm recording this on November 22nd, 2024. And I think in a pretty short turn, I'm going to have plenty of capital at my disposal. And then in the next decade, more money than I legitimately know what to do with. So again, that's a combination of calling my shot, but also having like literally walked it in my mind's eye, so I just know it's real. And you can have your opinion on any of this. I'm just speaking my truth because that's what I feel like is my obligation. But the clip that I want to put in is, and I smile every time I see it, when it circles back up. It's Steve Irwin, the wildlife conservatory person. He's getting interviewed by some TV person. They're kind of pressing him about financials, like, how do you make money? This doesn't seem like a great business model. Are you somebody who's non-materialist at all? Like, do you completely disregard money? He's like, oh, I love money, mate. I'll clip it in there.
What good is a fast car, a flash house and a gold-plated dunny to me? Absolutely no good at all. I've been put on this planet to protect wildlife and wilderness areas, which in essence is going to help humanity. I want to have the purest oceans. I want to be able to drink water straight out of that creek. I want to stop the ozone layer. I want to save the world. And money's great. I can't get enough money. And you know what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to buy wilderness areas with it. Every single cent I get goes straight into conservation. And guess what, Charles? I don't give a rip whose money it is, mate. I'll use it and I'll spend it on buying land.
The reason I love that clip has basically nothing to do with wildlife conservatory. It's not like my passion. It's not the gift I feel like I'm here to give. I love nature. I'm grateful for the abundance I get to experience by putting my feet in the earth and swimming in the ocean. But it's the energy. It's how unbelievably convicted he is and passionate about his mission. And like, when I get on these little tirades, not necessarily in this clip, I'm containing it and I'm also in my room alone, but when I'm on the phone with other entrepreneurs and we're talking about building these events and these physical spaces and starting companies and helping other people, it fills me with so much energy and joy. And I love that. And like, you see it in others. You see it like when the spark lights up behind their eye. And this is the nature of my work as well. Like the one-to-one coaching, the content I put out, I feel like the through line is stirring the embers of your spirit. I think that's in the intro welcome email to the newsletter as well. Like stoking the embers that are there. Like you have a human spirit that is an indomitable force, and the world has caged it down to this little tiny ember, this single flame. But it can be a roaring fire, waking the sleeping lions to their power. And like when you meet those people, it's so much more invigorating, and I just want the world to be filled with them, everybody on their own mission. There's unbelievable abundance all around us, which is why I'm unbelievably confident that I'm gonna get taken care of, because there's enough for me, and then 1,000-fold for everybody else. Everybody can have their slice of the pie. Scarcity is a tool of evil, and financial as well as physical abundance is obviously non-linearly distributed. I'm not blind to poverty. I'm not blind. I mean, I'm in a third world country right now. I walk down the street and these people, God knows what their annual wage or what they live off of is. And Lombok compared to Bali is a lot more stark. Their lifestyle is much more simple. Like their actual physical dwellings are much more truly like third world-esque, and I've put some of that in the vlog as well. So I get it. I fully understand that it's not evenly distributed, but for myself and my life path, God blessed me with so many abundant ingredients. Not only was I born in America, but I was born at this specific time. I was born a child of the internet. I was born with a phone in my hand since I've been around middle school age, born with a great brain to think, the courage to take action, a stable family unit, a middle-class family unit, a great upbringing and education. Like, I'm immensely and abundantly, overflowingly privileged. I don't love that word, but like, God gave me so many fucking ingredients that I have nothing but to aim for a massive goal and help as many people as possible, like in service of others. The only part that I'm trying to skim off the top is just have fucking an amazing time in the tiny window I have alive, but have as massive as of an impact as humanly possible. So this kind of content is a tool for me to do that, and it seems like the internet is where things are happening right now. If that changes, it changes, and I'll do my best to be adaptable. But yeah, we have a lot of work to do. I'm excited to do it. There's a lot of people to become more vital, more awake, more conscious, more mission driven. I'm grateful for all you guys that are here. I know I've said it probably on every single vlog, but it's still such early days, and what an unbelievable little time capsule to be able to come back to, not only for myself, but for anyone who comes back through the archives and catches these little moments, because yeah, it's just like only amazing things to come. So again, really grateful for everyone that already supports. I'm grateful for the people that really supported when I reached out. You know who the fuck you are. You have my gratitude forever, and obviously you gave out of a deep knowing for yourself that I would do the same. I want you to know that and believe that, and eventually when the material plane has caught up to the dream, you'll see it come back to you in a real way. So yeah, keep doing good. More updates to come along the way. I don't know where this will be. This might be the end of a vlog. We'll see where this gets clipped in, but extremely grateful, and abundance is far more than financial. So I'm doing really well, and it'll be fun to share the solution to this puzzle as I discover it. So if this is the end of a vlog, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. If this is the end of a clip, I'll talk to you guys in the next clip. But be the Renaissance.